Good evening, District 40, Toastmasters and friends. Welcome to our February episode of your District 40 podcast. My name is Althea Latang, and I am excited to be here with you. Joining me here in the virtual room, we got Lamar King, we got
Yo, yo.
we've got Sydney Osborne and Angela Norman, and we make up your District 40 podcast team. How is everyone doing today?
Most excellent. I'm feeling extra stylish today. Thank you, Althea.
Yes, you do. I see you're sporting some new face wear.
Yes. I figured a little gentrification was in order.
Awesome sauce. How are things going with you, Lamar?
I'm recentered.
Recenter.
Yeah, recentered, ready to go,
Mhm.
and I'm ready to have a great episode today.
Yes, likewise. How are things with you, Angela?
Oh, it's just one thing after another, this month. If I'm not feeling great, then my dog died this month. I'm gonna tell you guys, dude. She was like 15 years old. It was a little sad.
Oh,
Mm, that
But
is sad.
that is.
Yeah.
she lived a great life. We had a little celebration and it was really
Sorry to hear
impactful.
that, Angela.
So
Well, that's good. I know,
yeah.
I know that feeling all too well. I've lost two of my little ones a couple years ago, so I get it. So, love to you and the family. You know, your dog's watching over you guys and still guarding from above.
Her name was Buttercup, Princess
Oh,
Buttercup.
Buttercup. Princess Buttercup. I love that.
Mm.
All right, friends, let's go ahead and get things started with the podcast. So, as always, we would love to share with you why we're here, our mission. And our mission statement is to educate and to entertain our listeners and viewers by providing a positive and supportive experience to help our listeners and viewers develop stronger communication and leadership skills. And also, today, I would like to introduce our word of the episode. Our word of the episode is gallant. That word is defined as spirited and brave. And an example of that word in a sentence is during the Toastmasters contest, John made a gallant effort to keep the audience engaged with his dynamic delivery and confident stage presence. So, anyone taking the speaking platform this evening is strongly encouraged to utilize the word of the day. Now, we're going to keep things moving into our first segment, which is our interview segment. And we are really excited to have this guest on with us today. This individual represents District 40 Toastmasters royalty, in my opinion. And I'm really excited to have her on the pod with us today. So I'll go ahead and turn things over to Lamar to read our special guest's bio as we welcome them into our virtual room. So I'll go ahead and turn things over to you, Lamar.
Thank you, Althea. Special guest indeed. You are in for a treat. And this is none other than Karen Isaacs. So, Karen has been a member of Toastmasters since 2004. She has embraced the opportunity to enhance her leadership skills by serving as District 40 Director, Program Quality Director, Club Growth Director, Division Director, Area Director, in addition to all club officer roles except for Secretary. I'm gonna have to ask her what's up with that. But she served in every single role, as you can see. She believes in servitude, leadership. From 2020 to 2024, she served as Region 6 Advisory Mentoring District, leaders in 5 districts. When asked why she wanted to become Region 6 Advisory, she said these following words: I, Karen Isaacs. Toastmasters has truly been transformational for me. It has helped me grow exponentially as a communicator and a leader. Over the years, I want to share my lessons learned, knowledge, and experience with current and future leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we give you Karen Isaacs.
Thank you, Lamar. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you this evening.
Great, great to be here.
Absolutely. So, Karen,
Mhm.
I was just reading your awesome background here in your bio, and I told the folks here that I was going to ask you the question around you served every role in a district and in your club, and you put in parentheses here except secretary. So just curious why not secretary?
Just it wasn't official. I have
Okay,
served as secretary, but
okay.
it wasn't official.
Got you, got you,
Trust me, I've definitely served in all those roles
got
multiple
you,
times.
got you. Well, and Karen, I first saw you, I want to say it was about 2 years ago. It was at I think it was at a park. I can't remember which one. And there was
Mhm.
a fireside chat. The fire was going, and there were some speeches that were done, and then you gave a speech. And I didn't know too much about your role. I just knew that it was beyond what I had really known about. So I think, this is a D40 podcast, and a lot of us, we know about all the roles, district directors, program quality director, club growth director, etc. But I think a lot of us, like myself, don't really know too many roles outside of that, Karen. So you
Yes.
serving in that role as the Region 6 advisory. Can you share more about what that role entail and what does that look like?
Yeah, great question, Lamar. Thank you for that question. When I served as a district leader in the trio, I had the opportunity to have a connection with region advisors. Region advisors mentor, they support, they provide training to all the district trios and public relations managers. That is the role for the region advisors to provide a support and an education facilitator to the district leaders as they grow in their district leadership role. The program quality director, club growth director, the public relations manager, and the district director. So we provide support. We have meetings. Also, twice a year, there's a district leader training. You probably heard about at the convention when the trio is gone. And then there's a mid-year training that happens in January. Well, the region advisors are huge part of that. We will provide a lot of the training to the district leaders. My experience being in the trio had the opportunity to connect with some amazing region advisors. I just thought they were so inspirational. They were so supportive, just really genuine people that anytime I had an issue or if I just wanted to chat, they were available. And I was just inspired by them. And I said, that's a role I want. So once I completed my district leadership trio years, I did a immediate you have to do an immediate pass district director role. That's important. And then after that, you can apply for the region advisor role.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So and then now, so you helped a lot of leaders, to develop their skills and to be able to support clubs and whatnot.
Yes.
Has this always been a goal of yours when you first joined Toastmasters back in '04? Is it something that you saw yourself where you said, I like my club and I like the leadership opportunities. However, I'm going to pursue this leadership in the trio. I'm going to go beyond that. So what was that like for you when you first joined back in all those years ago?
I joined Toastmasters just to speak in front of my coworkers. I
Mm.
was very, I wasn't introverted, but I just very nervous about providing impromptu updates in front of my coworkers. I hated that so much. So I had a friend that was starting a Toastmaster club and she would always invite me and I'm like, I have to speak in front of everybody? No way. But I felt like that was a great opportunity for me to practice my impromptu speaking. I thought I did pretty good with prepared speeches, but the impromptu is what really terrified me. So with table topics, that was really big for me, so I can feel comfortable when my manager called me out in those staff meetings to give those updates. And I kind of fell into leadership because our VP of membership moved on to another role in the company. So they said, we think, Karen, we think you can take this role. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. It was just 6 months and I liked it. So I ran again for the membership role and then just kept saying yes. Anytime there was an opportunity to take on a leadership role, I said yes, even when I felt like I didn't necessarily feel like I was ready, but others thought that I was ready. They tapped me on the shoulder. We thought, and they would say, I think you would be great at this role. We know how that goes. And I just kept saying yes. And that's how I just ended up in various leadership roles. People inspired me, people had faith in me. And whenever I had questions, I took on mentors. They may not have known that they were my mentor, but I did have a number of mentors to help me along my journey.
Thank you for sharing that. I just got one more thing, team, and I'm gonna invite some of my teammates in to share some questions as well, Karen.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about this leading up to this interview with you, just about three things that I've been thinking about to have an environment where it's really healthy around leadership, and just want to know what are some of your maybe your top three things that really help to foster growth in leadership. One of those things is being not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Really just putting yourself out there and failing your way, as they say, failing forward, and just growing through those mistakes is definitely one thing that I'm seeing and learning as I've learned as a leader. That's one. And then the second one is an environment where you get constant feedback. You're not left to wonder about how your performance was. You're not left to wonder about how accurate you're carrying out the role, what have you. So you're brought in the loop about what is happening for you in that role. So that's two. And then the last one, Karen, I want to know what are your top three things for leadership? The last one for me is I just thought about this because I saw myself this past week, Karen. I caught myself from being offended.
Hmm.
So having a space where I am like having unoffended, not being offended, and not really taking things too personal, to such to the heart to where it throws off the objective of what the team is trying to go after.
Hmm.
So those are three things that stick out for me, Karen. But just curious, as you've matriculated since 2004 to where you are now and the various roles that you have played in leadership, what would be some things that you're thinking about? Because I'm looking at this as well because clubs are going to be listening to this and they may want to implement some of these things throughout their club. So what are your thoughts on this?
A few things that come to mind. This is a really great question. Uh, have that growth mindset, just being open. Some people, it is comfortable to have a certain way you do things, certain time, certain way. It is comfortable. And sometimes trying new things is uncomfortable. So being open to trying things a different way, you can still get even sometimes you can get even better results when you try something different. So having that growth mindset where you're constantly learning and growing, going out of your comfort zone, is a space that I personally it has served me well. And I'm not always right. I'm quick to admit I may not have the answers. We can learn together. I mean, there were times people asked questions when I first joined the trio. I'm like, I may not know, but I'm going to call TI or I'm going to talk to someone I know knows the answers, and then I'm going to share that with you so we can both learn and grow together. Okay. For me, during my region advisor year, uh, I did it 3 times, but the first 2 terms that I did, it was during COVID, which was so scary because I know enough about technology to be dangerous, but to go, I had to really step my Zoom game up or my technology game up. So I reached out to my kids. They know technology, and anybody that knew that could help me, I was like, teach me. I need to learn. I need to know how to use this technology. So, being open to trying, again, there's that growth mindset, but even with technology, just being open to trying new things. There are so many things that are out there that can make your life so much easier and more efficient where you're not spending a lot of time just working on some administrative tasks. There are a lot of tools that you can use that can help you. And then finally, I think I'm going to call it community. Community is so important. I feel like Toastmasters, they're my family. I can go anywhere in the world and my family is there and they're going to welcome me with open arms. And although they may do things some differently, I know that this is an area that is a group that's part of my family. They support me, different things that I'm doing. Some people have come to events that I've done outside of Toastmasters, or we've done things together outside of Toastmasters. As a matter of fact, there's a few of us that get together on a monthly basis and spend time together. So, it's community. This is our community. We can learn and grow from each other. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There are no dumb questions. Always ask questions. So, those are the 3 areas that when you talk about those spaces that have served me well in my Toastmaster journey.
Thank you so much, Karen, for answering those questions. I have to get you over to the stash, and that is none other than Sydney Osborne for further
Love it.
questions.
The
Take it away,
staff.
my friend.
Great.
Madam past regional advisor Karen Isaacs, I
Mhm.
must ask you a question.
Yes.
You'll forgive me. I'm practicing my engaging humor pathway, so I'm trying out a prop here, and I hope it makes me look a little more gallant than usual.
Oh
It
yeah, by the
does
way,
add to.
gallant is the word of the episode.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
does add character, Sydney.
Thank you. It was just a silly prank I put on pre-show, but everyone liked it so much I decided to keep it for the episode,
I
and
love
maybe I'll use
it.
it for my speech. That be, well, that little tangent aside, Karen, I've just out of curiosity one week, I don't know, it was a year or so ago, I just took a look at the bylaws of Toastmasters International. I was like, how high can you climb? Because I think it was a year before last we had President Matt Kinsey,
Mhm.
the guy, the top dog who reports to if TI even has this, the chair was only one step removed from the board of directors. He was the guy, and he graced us with his presence. Was extremely approachable, as really any leader who is competent should be. And you are obviously in that category, and the folks in this room are, and presumably many of you out here there in the audience. I have to know though, because as you climb the ranks, it's inevitable that I think Toastmasters International is a volunteer is a five. I'm not sure if it's a not for profit, but it
Mhm.
is. Oh yeah, you can confirm that. So
Mhm.
it's ran largely by volunteers, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure, as I read in the bylaws, that there's certain tiers that you can reach where if you wanted to, you could start getting remunerated for it. Is that the case with the region advisor role, or do you have to climb higher to do that if you wanted to make a career path out of Toastmasters, like be a professional Toastmaster, if you will?
That's a very insightful question, Sydney, and folks ask all the time. We're all volunteers unless you're staff for World Headquarters. So the CEO gets paid, the trainers, The folks that you call when you call and ask a question, they get paid.
Wow.
But the rest of us, we are all volunteers.
Hmm.
And so
That
we
makes
get paid in love and and just the sheer fact that we are supporting others and bringing them along the way in in their Toastmaster journey.
mm,
Because, of course, as you know, as leaders, members are the top of the pyramid.
makes sense. And
Mhm.
as Lamar told me, I'd get paid of exposure, so I figured that'd be good enough for now. So I'm on board with that. Angela, what do you think? We should ask the good Karen Isaacs.
Well, I saw all the different like positions that she has been in, and it kind of made me wonder. Hopefully you can't hear my dogs in the background, but as far as quality growth, PR, all the positions you have held, what do you think is is the most beneficial? Quality growth, leadership, what do you think is the most beneficial for Toastmasters to grow?
On my reflection, there is a method to the madness. Coming in as club growth director, or even some people have started off as public relations manager, because then you get a full insight on how the cycle goes for the year. Also, some insight on a lot of district business. But for me, I definitely wanted to serve in all three roles because the club growth director, program quality director, and district director, because they build skills that when you're in that district director role, it's understood that you're going to move forward. Things happen. Sometimes folks can't always follow the complete path, but it builds skills. So, coming in as club growth director, you're learning how to manage and delegate a team. You're learning how to build new clubs. You have exposure. You may be the first exposure that new members have about Toastmasters and what an impact you can have on someone's life. That is amazing. As the program quality director, you're learning to put together educational programs and events, bringing folks together. And you touch everything as the program quality director. You have the TLIs, you have the contest. You touch a lot of people in that role. And by the time you're district director, you have a really good idea how the district operationally, how it runs. You should have by now have had some contact with most of the members, so you have a good feel for most of the members. And then along that way, you're growing as a leader. You're using different leadership skills, and they all come together. And although it was scary moving into that district leadership role, you were ready. You feel ready because you've served in those roles, and that is not by accident that there's that path. So hopefully I answered the question.
You definitely answered my question, but at the end, I feel like somebody else has talked to you about me being a district director. I don't know. No, but on to you. What do you think, Althea? Thank you. That was so great.
Karen, I said that you, for me, represent District 40 royalty. I came in as a member hearing Karen Isaacs, like, who is this person? Like, I should know who this person is. And I was surprised to learn this evening that you served as our Region 6 advisor, three different, wow, okay. Is there any term limits when it comes to like those levels in
Yes,
serving?
so typically, that's a wonderful question. Typically, you serve no more than 2 terms
Okay.
consecutively.
Contacted. Got it.
Yeah. So I served 2020 and then I applied again and I was able to serve again, which I was very thrilled and excited to do that again, to continue supporting district leaders. But then there was a situation where somebody had to step down So the international president reached out to me, and Matt reached out to me and asked, would you be willing to step up and serve for the following year? So I said, yes, I will definitely help out. So
Yeah. Love art.
there's only a few of us that have done it more than 2 times.
That's awesome. That's great. I'm curious to know because you served in every role at the district level except for club secretary. You went on to represent Region 6 as our advisor. Now you're returning to us as the immediate past Region 6 advisor. What has life been like for you since ending your role as our Region 6 advisor? How has that transition been for you back into, I would call it civilian life, but
Yeah.
not having a big official role this year. How has that transition been for you?
So I support District 40. I do a lot of roles, some behind the scenes, especially past district director and past district governor meetings.
Yeah.
Do support the district in that way. And there's other things projects that I'm working on for the district, but I'm also working on quite a few big projects for World Headquarters I'm a past region advisor, co-chairperson. So we have there's a group where we look at some challenges or ways that we can help support district leaders and region advisors in their roles. So I'm serving as a co-chair for the past region advisor committee.
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, I have one more question before we say our goodbyes to you for now. But we have members who have served at the highest level within the district and are contemplating maybe making that transition into a regional role. What advice would you offer any member that's watching, a previous district director or district governor that's contemplating maybe going to the region level? What advice would you offer those individuals who are contemplating that transition?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. Here's my suggestion is get a mentor,
Mm.
someone that has served in the role. And that's what I did. I talked to people when I was considering it. I talked to folks that has served in the role, some just one term, some multiple terms. That was very insightful for me. So having those conversations with people that have held the role is very insightful. One of the biggest questions, and I'm sure you guys get this question when you're serving in district roles, is what's the time commitment?
Yeah.
And people do ask that question a lot. So I can provide some insight about it. And then I could just share my own testimonial about serving in a role and having an impact, to being a part of district leaders, their journey along their district leadership path. So I recommend mentors, multiple, and you can
Mm.
get just different perspectives. So that really is something I mentor people all the time. Folks that are considering, some said, now is not the time, but then others are like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm like, well, I'm here for you if you're ready to step up. So I am here to be a mentor. And if anyone has questions about the role, I'm happy to answer any questions that they may have. But it's been
That-
great. I loved it. It's one of my favorite roles. Obviously, I've served 3 times.
Yeah.
So I definitely love being a part of it.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for that. I'll go ahead and turn things over to Lamar to close us out.
Wow. Well, you know what? The people want to know. The people want to know what's next, Karen.
Uh-huh.
I think that will be it. And as we, close out here, what's next for your Toastmasters journey?
Well, I'm going to continue. District 40 has a special place in my heart. So this is where I started, and I'm always going to be a part of the District 40 community, supporting the district any way that I can. I am always available for folks if they're interested, again, in mentoring or if they have questions about roles. I'm currently serving as a co-chair for the past Region Advisor Council. So I will have another year working with that group. Who knows? Sky's the limit. I'm, always looking for opportunities to learn and grow. So I am definitely keeping my eyes and ears open for other opportunities.
I love that.
Having this conversation with you, Karen, is definitely gallant me in my personal professional journey and utilizing the time in Toastmasters to collaborate with personal with Toastmasters. So really do appreciate you sharing your journey, and how you're this person that you are. Definitely people want to know more about you. Is it how what is it social media handles, or do you do that kind of thing, or
Oh,
email,
for
or
sure.
yeah,
I love social media. I'm on Facebook, so
okay,
Karen Isaacs. I'm also Instagram, but I can't remember I can't remember.
yeah,
But if you look for, I'm out there, probably under
got
Karen
it,
Isaacs, but I'm out there and I follow District 40, so you can connect with me. And then my email, I have a Toastmaster Karen at hotmail.com email, so you can always email me there. So yeah, lots of
got it.
ways.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. We have really appreciated having your time here.
To
Thank you for sharing this evening in this space with us. So abundance of blessings to you, and we'll see you.
I appreciate the opportunity to be on the session tonight, and I've really just really enjoyed just talking and answering questions with you guys. So thank you so much for the honor of inviting me here and allow me to answer your questions.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
For
Have a
saying
good night.
have a good
Bye now.
night.
Night.
Thanks, Karen.
All right,
Mm,
guys, that
that's
was
great.
Karen Isaacs.
Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, I could ask her like a million more questions.
Yeah,
Well, you
I'm
know,
here.
she
I
gave
know,
you her
right?
contact information,
Yep,
and you can reach out to her.
got
I'm sure
that
she
written
will
down right here.
be able to
And
help
if
you
she
answer
can't
any.
help you, she would know somebody who can
Mhm.
help you.
Hmm.
That's what my
Yep.
mind went to as well. So
Yes.
Yes.
absolutely.
And
And I
So
think,
you want to
representative of
get
our
you ready to get to the next segment?
yeah, I think so. We're ready to
All right.
transition to the new,
Hey,
what we've learned.
what we learned is I want to kick things over to the wonderful with the fur hat
Hey,
here,
that's
Miss
good.
Angela
Patricia,
Norman, to give us what we learned. So
what
please
have
break it
we
down for us.
learned? What have we learned this week
Ooh.
or month? I'm sorry. Um, let's start off. Let me tell you something that I actually just learned today. I went to this thing called career. I forget what it's called. Career innovators or career something. But this lady that I was in a group with quoted somebody that I could not find on the internet. But the closest thing I got to it, and which I definitely believe to be true, is between good and great is a very small percentage. So you only have to give. What I could find was 5%
Hmm.
more just to get to great, from good to great. So I just thought that was so cool. And I kept trying to research it today, but couldn't find the origin. But I just think that is so true. The difference between just doing a little bit more, it is awesome. But Althea, what do you think about? You got any news we can use?
Well, not quite yet, but I do have
Oh,
what I've
I'm
learned.
sorry. I'm
So,
sorry. What we learned.
yes.
My bad.
And no worries, it's all good. And it's more so a question for my co-host friends that are here with us this evening. So we've all given at least one speech during our Toastmasters tenure. And because we have to use pathways to help guide our speech content, I'm curious to hear from all of you if you could give a Toastmaster speech on any completely random topic, what would it be and why? So I'll start with you, Sydney. If you had the opportunity to just give a Toastmaster speech, a 5 to 7 minute speech on
Mhm.
something completely random, what would that be?
Gallantry and mustaches. That is not as random as I could go, but that is where I will stand for now.
Okay, I love that. Angela, what about you? What random topic would you give a speech about?
I think urban um, like how rap relates to urban culture
Ooh.
and the message. I'm trying to think of, because I did an essay on this once and I loved it, and how it reaches people on a different level.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that would be cool.
Okay, cool. What about you, Lamar? What random topic would you give a speech about?
You know, what's coming to me is, or more so on the flip side of what my co-host just made mention, it would be how we think. And a lot of how we think is stems from childhood. So
Mm,
really tapping into understanding more about that, because a
yeah.
lot of things are consciously there, but then there's a lot of things that we're just unaware of why we think or say the things that we say. So for me, understanding and unraveling that will be the topic that I would like to talk about.
Yeah. I think the topic that I would like to talk about is once upon a time, I wanted to be a wine expert.
Ooh.
I think they refer to those individuals as a sommelier, I think is what the technical term
That
is.
sound about right.
Sounds fancy, right?
Yeah.
But I would love to just share with people randomly my love for wine, red wine, white wines, talk about the origins and the types of grapes and the winemaking process and the fermentation process, all this
Mm.
random stuff that probably nobody in the room cares about but me. So I would probably want to give a speech on my love for wines, but that was it. That was all I had. Nothing heavy. Just wanted to see what random topics my co-hosts would like to give a speech on if they had the opportunity to. And I'm hoping if you do happen to give those speeches that you invite me so I can listen to it. I'll turn it back
I
over to
love
you.
that.
Heck yeah. Lamar, what about you? You have anything to add?
What we learn, you know, Angela, I really appreciated what you just shared, or what Althea just shared, Angela, and the part about
I
wine.
like wine too, but
Because I had learned a little bit about it. Like I learned that in California, like how it became the culture that it is that there were two brothers who started the business and they ended up splitting and going their separate ways, but
Isn't that
they
always how it
shared.
happens?
What's that?
Isn't that always how it
I
happens? Like,
know, unfortunately, I know,
brothers,
and
never
they
sisters, just brothers.
and they went their separate ways, and then but
yeah.
they had shared a lot of their secrets to
Mhm.
anyone who wanted to know, and that's why it's such a space now where people would travel throughout the world to be there
Yeah.
because they've created such a culture there. So
Yes.
that's where you said that my mind went immediately there.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not what I wanted to talk about.
No
But
worries.
what I learned is, Angela, this past week I was a judge for a contest in Division B. And I said to myself, judging is not so bad.
Hmm.
For me, I was like, I don't know if I want to be a judge. I don't want to have to hold the fate of someone advancing or not advancing, in the palm of my hand, and I don't see it that way. I see it now as a way of being unbiased,
Mhm.
fair, and also I see it as a way where I can grow. So, Angela, when I took on the role, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'll go ahead and do it. And I had to actually, because I was about to just jump off a cliff because I said I wanted to be the chief judge, Angela, and I had
Oh,
never been a judge
that's different.
before.
A
So,
little
you know,
different.
Oh,
just a
okay.
tad bit, a little bit gallant, like over
Yeah.
extreme. So I was like, let me take a little couple steps back and just be a judge, okay? All right. So I'm like, we're in a safe environment. Hey, we support each other. Like, hey, so,
Yeah.
but let me just take another approach to this.
Yeah.
So I went in, I became a judge, and it worked well.
Mhm.
I seen the chief judge. He did a wonderful job of getting us all organized. It was organized. It went well, and I felt like
Love
I could
that.
relax and play my role, Angela.
I
I
love
didn't
that.
have to I didn't have to do anything else but just be there for what I was there for.
Yeah,
And
that's what
support the speakers who were giving the table topics and international speeches. So grateful for the
I think
opportunity.
it's so interesting, isn't the
Hmm.
table topics speech thing?
Hmm.
I just think that's so cool. It's
Yes.
my first year with that ever being what's going on. So I like the table topics thing. But yeah, being a judge. Thank you so much. I
You're
still
welcome.
need judges for Area 54 on 3/7. Please sign up.
Hey, Angela,
Sydney.
is the contest virtual?
Nope.
Percent? Okay.
Nope. It's
Okay.
area, so it is all in person. We're at right downtown Cincinnati. So
Okay, cool.
it's really close to all the clubs involved. So
Mhm.
that's cool. Sydney, what do
Yes,
you
ma'am.
think? You got something
Yes, ma'am, I do.
we
In
can
my
learn?
in my line of work, we have a concept called operations tempo or ops tempo for short. The
Mhm.
idea is how fast or slow what you're doing occurs. And a week ago, I was thinking about it's good to do hard things and crash through things and blast through any kind of barriers that get in the way of your goals. Oh, first you have to set goals, set ambitious goals, do hard things, blast through things. Don't use dynamite. You throw dirty dishes around. Just do whatever you. But then I realized more recently, it's many times good to be fast
Mhm.
and blast through things. It's also good to realize sometimes you're just going to have to wait a little bit and hold your horses about what you're trying to do. It's okay to have a day where not much happens.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a week where not much happens. Sometimes things get canceled and you're like, oh, thank God I can just lurk in the background and just relax a bit. Kind of like Lamar just mentioned, it was probably relaxing not being the guy in charge, right, Lamar?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was.
Well, it was a relief. Let's say that for sure.
Yep. So all that is to say is it's rewarding to do hard things. It builds you up. It makes you tougher, but sometimes it's just good not to have a lot of responsibility or a lot going on. And I think that
Mhm.
that's a more recent take I have had in my week so far. Back to you, Angela.
Yeah,
Thanks. That sounds
can I
awesome.
can I say something to that too? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go
Sydney,
ahead.
thank you for sharing that because I I think for me that has been a challenge for quite some time because I'm the kind of person that is always doing something, you know, and it's hard sometimes to take a step back and not be the one that's always pouring out, but then be in a position to receive, right?
Hmm.
Because you got to get your cup full as well. So I think it's a delicate balance of the two, being available to pour into others while also being able to receive. So I just want to thank you for
Amen.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for
And,
sharing.
Sorry.
No,
and
no,
I think
no.
so.
Yeah,
I think it's just one of those things where
I thought I was
here.
muted. I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's okay.
I think it's true because it's one of those things where I was reading an article by Jenny Wood, one of my favorite career coaches.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. She has a new book out called I think it's called Have Wild Courage. Definitely check
Okay.
out on Amazon. But one of the points she made in one of her newsletters was we have technology that lets us do 3 or 4 different things at once, switching tabs on your web
Mhm.
browser. It's good just to do one thing and do it well,
Yeah.
but I would also say that God can give you peace, and God gave me peace this week that it's okay to have a slow day or a slow week.
Mhm.
Welcome it. I,
Yes.
I don't know
Hard,
about you.
but yeah, that's true. It's
Those
I don't,
hard.
magical moments.
I don't
Yeah.
know about you, but one of my favorite things to do is simply have nothing going on. I like
Mhm.
that.
I hear
Very
that.
hard.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
Angela, I'm sorry. I'll stop talking now.
No,
Thank you.
that is just so hard, but that's so true. But okay, let's go, Althea. Some news we can use.
Over
We
to me. All right, friends. So listen, there's a lot that's happening in our district. We're in the second half of the program year. So you know what that means. There's something probably happening in every division every weekend. up through the end of June. So with that, I'm going to turn things over actually back to you, Angela, to have you share any news. I know you asked for some volunteers for roles for the area contest for Area 51, 54,
54. Come
54.
on.
Here we go. All
We
right.
are at 413 Broadway Street. Like we're out here. We're just trying to do it. It's gonna be awesome. The Area 54 contest on 3/7. I just need a couple more judges, and let's just get into it. It's gonna be fun. I got snacks, candy, whatever. I might fall. I might just be funny. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. So anything can happen. And that is my news you can use. Like
Oh,
anything
Angela.
can happen.
I love you, friend. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Sydney, any news that our friends viewing can use?
Yeah, Sophia, I do. Now, aside from giving a word of caution, because Angela is a very sweet lady, but she'll work you to death if she puts you there. Oh, yep. See, there you go. I believe that I will mirror her news, and that contest season, as you well know, is underway. Area contests are going on right now. Division A is having its combined area contest. I believe at the Vandalia Metro Library here in Dayton, Ohio, or up in Vandalia, Ohio, technically, this coming Saturday on the 1st of March. And you can find details on our website or contact Division A Director Kelly O'Keefe. And I believe that they are also looking for an additional person to serve as a timer, but feel free to get in touch with her regarding that. As for and bear in mind, if you want to compete, it's not necessarily too late to put your name in the hat for that. If you want your club to nominate you, try and see if we can make it happen. It's but this is your last chance if you want to compete for this year. It might be too late, but I don't think it is. It's worth asking the question. If you want to compete, go for it.
Yeah.
And division contests will be ongoing all throughout March and probably part of April. And of course, as I believe someone's going to share here in a minute, there's contests to be had at the conference. Isn't that right, or Althea?
It is. And before we get to that, I'm going to check in with Lamar to see if he has any news that the people can use.
Well, you know what? There's a first time for everything. So, as Angela was making mention about Area 54, as Sydney was just saying about contests happening in Division A, listen, if you have an opportunity to engage and be a judge, be a timer, be a sergeant at arms, and or maybe you just want to attend, how about that?
Yeah.
For me, that's where it started out there. I just attended a conference or I attended a contest. I didn't know too much about anything. I just was there observing, taking everything in. And little did I know that I would be taking on a role that, like I just made mention about being a judge. And I would tell you that, you're in a supportive environment. As Karen was saying, one of the things that she appreciates is having community. This is what we all have access to within our time in Toastmasters. Out of Sydney, we had District or Division A come and support Division B contest to support in any way. And I'm like, wow, you drove from Dayton, Columbus to be here. Keith drove from Dayton, Tracy drove from Dayton. I'm like, wow, this is really great that folks are driving and being supportive. So that is the kind of support that we all have in whatever division that we're in. But we have to be vocal about what that need is, like Angela just did. So I want to just give a shout out to Division B and just make mention that there's a contest coming up this coming Sunday. As City May mentioned, there'll be one pretty much happening every weekend. So we'll be having ours or Division B in it'll be at the library in the Northern Lights in Columbus.
Can
So
you
if anyone
can
wants
you
to
put it
anyone
in
wants to check out, you can go ahead.
I was just like, can you put it in the comments, like the address?
Yeah, I think for me, Angela, the best thing would be is the website. So the D40 Toastmasters.org website. Go there and then click on a tab that says contest.
Yep.
Yeah. Click there, and then you're gonna see the one that Angela just made mention, the one that the Sydney you just make mention, the one I just make mention, and any make mentions. All of those contests are gonna be there for anyone to be able to see, for them to come out and be a part of it. So that's the news that the people can use. Back over to you, Althea.
Thank you guys so much. I know we're heavy into contest season, but guess what? It's all going to culminate the weekend of May 2nd through the 4th. You know what weekend that is, you guys? That is our spring conference weekend.
Yeah, we gallant up in
We're
there
going to
for
gallop to
sure.
glory. That's right. In Lexington, Kentucky. So just a reminder, if you are interested in being a part of an amazing conference weekend, to be surrounded by your family in District 40, to cheer on your members from your club that will be competing that weekend, to hear some great presentations, to hear a wonderful keynote from Dr. Kareem Ellis, you want to be in Lexington, Kentucky, the weekend of May 5th, May 2nd through the 4th. So there is still time for you to register to attend. As Lamar said, there's a lot of information on our District 40 website. Everything about contests, about training, about the conference. You can go there. You can learn all about what's happening that particular weekend. I was just taking a look at the agenda, you guys. There's a lot of great things that are on there. We got the candidate showcase Friday night. We got a dinner. There's some dancing later on that evening. You know, we're gonna be well fed that weekend. I think there's even a bourbon tasting, y'all. Bourbon tasting. You don't want to miss that. The International Speech and Table Topics Contest will be happening that weekend. And your very own District 40 podcast will be in the building. You know, we're still working through the specifics on how we're going to participate that weekend, but we will be there live at the conference, and we hope to see you all there. So again, let's gallop to glory down in Lexington, Kentucky, May 2nd through the 4th. Visit the D40 website to get more information about how to register and get your accommodations all set for that fun-filled weekend. We cannot wait to see you down there. So I'm going to kick things over to Mr. Stash himself, Mr. Sidney Osborne, to bring us home with the evaluation segment. Over to you, Sidney.
Thank you, Althea. The good news is we are cooking up some really good evaluation resources here.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, sorry, I had to do a little chef improv there.
Great.
I will share my screen in a moment, but first I'll read you a brief synopsis of the video we will be doing an evaluation for. The idea behind the evaluation portion is that it's one of the cornerstones of the Toastmasters program in general. How can we get better if we don't have feedback at all from our speeches? So during this segment, we're going to put our evaluation skills to the test. The speeches chosen during this segment can come from anywhere. It can be funny, it can be informational or serious. This one is going to be a bit more inspirational. We'll watch it and then give a brief evaluation. And the video itself will be linked in the show notes here at the end of the podcast, and you will be able to see the summary that it has. But for the purposes of this recording, life advice is a profound exploration of life's lessons as shared by the remarkable Matthew McConaughey. In this insightful speech, McConaughey imparts wisdom drawn from his journey, blending personal experience with timeless truths. Let's unravel the key takeaways that can shape our perspectives and lead to a more fulfilling existence.
We do not own the rights to this content that we are about to share.
This is for educational purposes only. That is correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to talk to you about some things I've learned in my journey. Most from experience, some of them I heard in passing, many of them I'm still practicing, but all of them I do believe are true. Life is not easy. It is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be. Do not fall into the trap, the entitlement trap, of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. So the question that we got to ask ourselves is what success is to us, what success is to you. Is it more money? That's fine. I got nothing against money. Maybe it's a healthy family. Maybe it's a happy marriage. Maybe it's to help others, to be famous, to be spiritually sound, to leave the world a little bit better place than you found it. Continue to ask yourself that question. Now, your answer may change over time, and that's fine. But do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, don't choose anything that will jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. Be brave, take the hill, but first answer that question, what's my hill? So first, we have to define success for ourselves. And then, we have to put in the work to maintain it. Take that daily tally. Tend our garden. Keep the things that are important to us in good shape. Where you are not is as important as where you are. It is just as important where we are not as it is where we are. Look, the first step that leads to our identity in life is usually not, I know who I am. I know who I am. That's not the first step. The first step's usually, I know who I am not. Process of elimination. Defining ourselves by what we are not is the first step that leads us to really knowing who we are. You know that group of friends that you hang out with that they really might not bring out the best in you? You know, they gossip too much or they're kind of shady. They really aren't going to be there for you in a pinch. Or how about that bar that we keep going to that we always seem to have the worst hangover from? Or that computer screen, right? The computer screen that keeps giving us an excuse not to get out of the house and engage with the world and get some real human interaction. Or how about that food that we keep eating? Stuff that tastes so good going down, makes us feel like crap the next week. We feel lethargic, we keep putting on weight. Well, those people, those places, those things, stop giving them your time and energy. Just don't go there. I mean, put them down. And when you do this, when you do put them down, when you quit going there, and you quit giving them your time, you inadvertently find yourself spending more time and in more places that are healthy for you, that bring you more joy. Why? Because you just eliminated the who's, the where's, the what's, and the when's that were keeping you from your identity. Look, trust me, too many options, I promise you this, too many options will make a tyrant of us all. All right, so get rid of the excess, the wasted time. Decrease your options. If you do this, you will have accidentally, almost innocently, put in front of you what is important to you by process of elimination. Knowing who we are is hard. It's hard. So give yourself a break. Eliminate who you are not first, and you're going to find yourself where you need to be. Instead of creating outcomes that take from us, let's create more outcomes that pay us back, fill us up, keep your fire lit, turn you on for the most amount of time in your future. We try our best, we don't always do our best. Well, architecture is a verb as well. And since we are the architects of our own lives, let's study the habits, the practices, the routines that we have that lead to and feed our success, our joy, our honest pain, our laughter, our earned tears. Let's dissect that and give thanks for those things. And when we do that, guess what happens? We get better at them. And we have more to dissect. Be discerning. Choose it because you want it. Do it because you want to. We're going to make mistakes. You got to own them. Then you got to make amends. And then you got to move on. Guilt and regret kills many a man before their time. So turn the page, get off the ride. You are the author of the book of your life.
All right. Pretty inspirational. Lamar, what do you think?
Pretty inspirational. Yeah, man. I think Sydney, man, that was a great share, a great find, and hearing Matthew words. I never heard him speak. I've seen him playing movies.
Yeah.
I've seen him at the Texas games with his cowboy hat on,
Mm.
but I never heard him give any type of speech like this. But definitely inspirational indeed.
Your banner.
And what I saw you all was a man who was truly himself.
Mm-hmm.
His hair laid down with the buttons like that, sitting and then sitting down, like his buttons undone
Mm-hmm.
and then sitting down. Like that's what I've always seen him in the role of the movies that he's played. And it just or when he's on the sideline in Texas. So you could tell this is who he is through and through.
Mm-hmm.
And he believed every word that he spoke. And for me and for us who are Toastmasters members, if there would be any feedback that I would give on this, it will be very challenging. However, I enjoy hearing the personal story. And I heard a lot of, you know, things that you can do or how you can do.
Mm-hmm.
However, for me, it didn't connect anything with him personally. So did the entire video play through fine? Yes. I didn't hear anything that connected with him personally. So him sharing these things about that he was sharing didn't for me come from any place that connected with him internally.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that will be, and then also the part where the guy was working out or going after you want, for me, a heterosexual man, that's not what I want. So they kept the camera on that guy too long with him working out saying this is what you want. No, I don't want that. But anyway, but I felt it was really great, well put together. Definitely one that I will revisit. And you know what, Sydney? My word of the year, you can't see it, is joy. That's my word of the year. And what I hear is me from him is being intentional about how I spend my time
Mm-hmm.
and the things that I do. Am I very intentional or am I just sort of passing the time? But for me, is he cut off the excess, give myself fewer options.
Mm-hmm.
So really impactful for me to hear that message. Again, one that I would more than likely revisit. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to hear that message. Althea, I heard you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's coming to mind for you after hearing and seeing that message?
Yeah, I love an inspirational message. I would have loved to have just been able to see the speech and not have like the other visuals within the video. And I understand the reason why it was produced that way. And it's just showing you people just being active and being out and just doing things. And although Lamar was not a fan of the individual working out, I kind of looked at it from the perspective of that if you want to take care of your body, then go after it, right? If
Yeah,
that's
and
what
that's what I'm like. I know for some guys that does it, but not for me.
I
I hear
got
you,
you.
but yeah,
Understood, understood. And that's the beauty of this whole thing is that we see the same image and we get a different experience or a different
yeah,
reaction, or it tells us something differently. So I
yeah,
would have loved to, if my only critique was, I would have loved to have been able to see him the entire speech, just to be able to get a good read on his body language. I love the sound of his voice. And to Lamar's point, like he is always true to who he is and his roots in Texas. Like he has that southern draw. I love it. Um, I just love his laid back mannerisms. I just love the fact that he had such a powerful but simple message that resonated with me. I just would have loved to have been able to actually have my eye on him the entire speech to be able to give more feedback. Some people may feel like sitting down giving your speech the whole time is not a good thing. Others may not have an issue with it, but I felt like he was in his element, so I really enjoyed that piece of that. So, Angela, what are your thoughts about how Matthew did with the speech?
Okay, so here I love the pausing. I love his pace. I love he talks so well. Like you just listen to it, it's powerful, right? But I would have liked to see him get up out of his chair and be talking about what he believed in. Like those were very powerful. Like the guy working out, like the powerful images, like throughout the thing. But it's Matthew McConaughey. Come on now. We would rather see you up out of your chair telling me how to, pump iron or how to get inspired. Just, he is such a great speaker. Like, I just love it. The pace of his voice, the sound of it, the way he pauses, but also he definitely believes what he's saying, and he's always been true to himself, and I think that's great. So that's all I got. But I would like to see him more. That's all. Up out of his chair.
I think for me, the subject matter hit home well. I love inspirational speeches like that. The one tweak I might make is that God has to be the source of your strength and not just self-actualization. But it nevertheless is kind of good in that sense because it has a universal tone to it, such that once you embrace your source of strength, then you're able to participate within self-improvement, doing the things you need to do. And although he didn't draw us out that explicitly, it's meant to be for your family members, your stakeholders, your customers, the people around you. A better you is a better servant of all. If that's one point that I think he drove home more implicitly, and I would have liked, but nevertheless, the focus on self-improvement is something that I'm a big fan of for all of life. So that hit home for me, I think. If I was to offer some suggestions for improvement for this, something that you two touched on, Althea and Angela, is that the production quality could be tweaked a little bit where there's less visuals. Him being in his seat, since he's up there with a microphone, giving a particular, I'm guessing he's in front of a high school class or a graduating class, and he's up there just giving a frank uncle to nephew to kind of talk. That's the vibe I got when he was up there on the stool. So I can almost imagine in my mind's eye a campfire story sharing things. Therefore, Mike, it could be a good thing to have that, but seeing more of his face, maybe have tweak the audio a bit so his voice came through a little further, or at least reduce the volume of the background music would be nice. But other than that, maybe fewer visuals. I think that the content overall was quite good, especially his laundry list of things you could consider improving on, just to give food for thought. And that's pretty much my take on it. And with that, I'll turn things back over to you, Althea.
Thank you, Sydney, for that great video. And thank all of you for your great words for the evaluation. We are at the end of our podcast episode for the month of February. So thank you guys so much for all of you that joined. You can watch back the video later on. And next month, I'm not ready to announce it yet, but we got a special guest next month. So hoping that you guys come back to join us. As always, we go live on YouTube the fourth Tuesday at 7 p.m. Lamar, Angela, Sydney, great seeing you guys this evening. District 40, we bid you farewell until next month. Have a good evening.
Peace.